Okay.
What short refuge come from?
Just wait a little bit. I think just to full until the short refuge.
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the
Sangam. Buddha, the Dharma, and the assembly, I take refuge until when I Sandala. Oh, you just. Ye Jona Lai Janjo Bado Dane Jazo Daje Jazo Jebe Sonanje Dola Benje Sanje Drovajo. Sentient beings and limitless have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be liberated.
May they dwell in the free from the bias of attachment forever. May all mothers sentient
Space have happiness and the cause of happiness. The cause of suffering. May they never get free from sorrow. And they rest in eternity, free from attachment. My Nanga Danyambe Sanjan Danje Dewa Deve Jordan Dembai George Dandong Ye Jordan Dewa George Dong Membe Dewa Dam Dewa George Niri Chodan Nidan Jove Dam Online by George. Next page. We have next page. Just tell them. You just don't rush. Because they don't know. So that way nobody know how to read. Next page, please. Guru will complete the purity of the phenomena existent. All phenomena existent arising within the ground. I pray that the three realms of the tubular liberated reign the bliss. The unthought discourage. You possess the five all-knowing wisdom. You, the essence of the Lord, and the precious protector of all beings.
I supplicate you from within the natural state of mind. Please rest me within the state of the body itself. Please rest me
Namo Naze Nanda Ye Lama Lai Naze Chechen So Chabamba Kanso Yondre Do So Wande Kowai Dondro So Jenje Loi Je Je Nombo So Jeme Jewe Do Jembe Yeche Ngandande Zewe Danye Gade Je Drowa Jonze Rembo Je Dasinye Je Ngane Sowande Chenye Je Ngando Chenje Loi Sendene Jeme Nanda Je Londe Chogo Doba Chenje Loi Woman Chenje Borando Dosu Sanje Gunje Ngoi Rasa Jogongo Zaba, Zavala na Goja, Toje Doje Resoto, Chenye Mendo Doje Bonjomba, Seje Lombo da Bonjebego, Shejezo de Languaja, Temendo Doje Jengodo, Monte Shije Gombo Jedawa, Tanje Seba Gunje Chujeje, Nyeme Dragon Renjen Goja. This is not, I made the wrong person to co-host. Okay. Okay. Dazo seje da jeje lo chozo rowa jeje labdo zwe cholando lowa jeje labdo zwe lantroba zawa jeje labdo zwe troba ishe so jawa jeje labdo zwe nejeje da banda lama zola jazwe jawa jeje senje lada lama zola jazwe naze banda lama zola jazwe jawa dobe da rowa jeje labdo zwe toje jen rowa jeje labdo zwe deza donda damba jeje labdo zwe chaja jembe choje ngondo tse dinye la doba jeje labdo zwe sanje gondo zawa lama la gosongo ba jembe demene lo rawa jebana zedan roba nyamba jeje lo. Good morning. So we are continuing on the fourth Dharma of Gampopa. When come to the Dharma, Buddha, what did we use yesterday? Summarize as a
Subsumed or summarized?
Yeah, subsume all his teaching into conclude end of his life into the four seal, all compounded are impermanent, all defilement are suffering, phenomena are void of self and devoid of self, and nirvana is the peace. Similar way also Gampopa subsume all his teaching into these four subjects. Mind turn into the Dharma, Dharma become the path free from delusion, and delusion transformed to the emptiness. Also, there are other masters like great Sakyapintita. He subsumed all his teaching into the called the four freeing from freeing from the four type of attachment. I think something like that. Like I said, if you're being attached to this life, you are not Dharma practitioner. If you're being attached to the samsara, you don't have renunciation. If you're being attached to the self, cherishing, then you don't have a bodhicitta. And if you're grasping on the existence, you don't have a right view or authentic view. So I think these are really similar with the Gampopa's four Dharma. Like Gampopa said, your mind turn into the Dharma, or another way, some other master like Pamotuba and also Chitisumgun use as your Dharma turn into the Dharma. Because if every Dharma practitioner, long as we said I'm practitioner, we do something, we pretend like we're doing some chanting, praying, and those lots of ritual involved. We do lots of things. But we have to ask that question, is my Dharma, is it truly become, really Dharma, or I'm doing this for this life's concerned? Yeah. If you're, whatever you do, generosity, moral ethic, patience, perseverance, mental concentration, and even including the wisdom. If your main intention is focusing on this life, that means that your Dharma is not into the Dharma. Your Dharma is becoming a really concern. So that way we have to examine it ourselves, because we are the witness of our own good or bad. No one can judge unless Buddha or someone like Buddha who can read our mind. Then that individual can judge who we are, what we do. But normal, like a worldly being can say, ordinary people, each other cannot judge. That way sometimes your own guru confused with you, who you are, Why? Because they cannot see your mind. But for you, nothing is a secret. For you, everything is clear. So you have to be honest with yourself. You don't want to deceive by pretending something what you not you. Because by deceiving, it's not going to benefit anything for you. Only hurt, harm in this life, become what called disturb your peace and calm. Yeah, when we deceive, when we lie, always there's some distraction in our, so because of that reason, then we have lots of, guilt. From that guilt, then disturb your peace and happiness. So you don't want to be that way. And in this life and next life, of course, you cannot escape from the consequence of your negative action, what you abuse as a dharma for just temporary benefit, mundane concern, because once long as you do the mundane concern, then there's no positive result from that. Why? Because involvement of the self-cherishing. From self-cherishing, there's an increase of the jealousy, hatred, all those other emotions. So that reason, we have to be our own witness, and not just only our own witness, but we have to be our own protector. So that way Buddha said, you're your own savior, because you only can save yourself. And you do all those negative, and you rely on the guru or deity, someone you think they would help you. It's impossible. If that's possible, we don't need to practice the Dharma. When Buddha have done already, So there's an impossible to someone will help you to save you. You call our savior as a guru or deity or something, but they are not possible to do that one. Even Buddha himself said, I cannot against with the nature. I cannot against with the what called the reality. Buddha said, I cannot make the rock flow on the water. I cannot make the husk sink in the water. Because if I do that one, that means that I'm against with the what called the nature. That's impossible. So make sure our Dharma is not become mundane concern, irrelevant concern. So that way saying is a Dharma become Dharma turn into the Dharma. Please bless me that my Dharma turn into the Dharma. Then second one is talking about the Dharma become a path. As yesterday I mentioned, path means that the road to get somewhere. If you're circling like a wheel, like what called this a water wheel. It's a spin whole day, but never gone anywhere. Day and night, it's spinning there, the water wheel, but never gone. Did not move 1 inch. Because it's just circling there. Same way, because there's no path, just circling. So we don't want to become our Dharma as that way. then it never will get anywhere. So Dharma have to become a path to get to destination. Yeah. So what is the destination? You see, we're all looking for the peace and happiness. Who not wishing peace and happiness? You're not going to find anyone who not wishing peace and happiness. Everyone, not just only Dharma, even your daily job, even your whatever we try to pursue is a peace and happiness. Yeah, that is our goal. So you have to reach that goal, have to follow to the path. So and then you have to examine it. Where is the peace and happiness? You're not going to find in the peace and happiness in the samsara. People think that, when you have no education, maybe after education, you will get more happier. So they go to school. Then after the education, nothing changed. Then you think, oh, maybe I get a job, so I have lots of money, so I become happier. And you get a job and you work hard day and night. By the end of the day, you're not going to feel any kind of happiness from that, because of that. And one day you get really tired and you retire from that job. And so we're seeking the peace and happiness for a wrong place. All those the material or those not truly cannot give you the true happiness and true peace, because they are not capable. And happiness and the peace is come from the cause and condition. It's not come from the just wishing. And those, what we using as a tool to achieving the happiness, they are not really cause of a true happiness. Because if you buy the house, you think, oh, once I have a house, I will be happy. No, it's actually your headache is increased. When you have a house, then all the other problem comes. Then you think, oh, if I have a car, I will be much better, easier to transportation. I have a more independent freedom. But then, once maybe a little while car give you joy, but after that, it's only headache. Somebody told me car is like hungry ghost. So I think that way, those what we believe going to give us a peace and happiness is not going to give you, because they are not capable to do that one. So that reason we have to look at by following to the path. So that is why Buddha give us a path. What is the path? Is it called the 3 trainings: training of the morality, training of the samadhi, training of the wisdom. Why they are path? To achieve the true peace and happiness, or can say permanent happiness. Because they are directly antidote of the main source of suffering, which is the afflictive emotion. Training of the morality is a directly, antidote of the attachment. But I'm not sure these days, morality are really truly antidote of the attachment or not. Because sometimes monks looks richer than lay people. Monks have more things than lay people, monks and nuns. So I don't know, there's really truly we have that renunciation of the cutting attachment. Make sense? So we have to look that way. I'm not saying it's having material as you have attachment. You can have lots of material, but you can be free from attachment. That letting go the material and stay away from that way is not guaranteed that you will be free from attachment. By distant, physically distant, yeah. By physically distant, you have a free from attachment. It's no guarantee. You may still have a strong attachment, So, so need to let go. Even you are with that, but still you have to find a way to how to let go of that one, detach. So Tilupa said to the Naropa, we are not bounded in the samsara because of the appearance. We are bounded in the samsara because of the grasping on that. So just cut the grasping of attachment. If you want to be free from samsara, that's what Tilupa said. So that I think this reason, training of the morality means that detaching, antidote of the attachment. Then training of the samadhi means the kind of generally negative emotion. Some of you already studied in the Shantidevasa Vaya Bodhisattva Kantra in the chapter 8. If you look, they give you really great tool of how to meditate according to your own emotion. Shantideva said, if you're jealous because someone is better than you, then exchange. You become that person, and that person become you, and having started with a pride. So your jealous will reduce. If you're proud because you are better than someone, then exchange. Put that person on your position, you put on that person's position, and try to have jealousy. So your proud will reduce. So meditation, you see, it means that directly targeting your emotion. If your emotion is not changed, doesn't matter how long you meditate. Yesterday I mentioned, we said in Tibetan called the Tudampel, increasing the meditation. It means you have to be some change come out from the practice. So it's not going to come like 100% change for overnight. It has to be gradually. Extreme doesn't work. You have to do gradually. Because some people try to do overnight, everything change, then they couldn't handle. So if you do gradually, decreasing all the negative, then it helps. So meditation means the antidote of the aversion, particularly because aversion is the one of the greatest, I can say, the strongest emotion. So then training of the wisdom is the antidote of the ignorance. So ignorance is not go away by praying. Ignorance is not go away by the recitation of mantra. Ignorance is not go away by hoping. You have to develop wisdom. How to develop wisdom? By hearing, contemplate, meditation. So this is directly Buddha taught us 3 trainings. That is become a path. If you follow to the path, honestly, you definitely found the path to nirvana. Why you need that path? Why just not good enough for the reborn in the human realm, or like a rich human, good-looking human, movie star, or those famous human, or God realms is not good enough. Because even we're born to the human and God realm, who have a superior body and superior circumstance, but still they are not free from suffering. So no, in the worldly, no matter how high you get, that much you go low. One ball, how high you go, higher, hit harder when come down. Make sense? So that way, how more higher we born, hit harder. That way you have a really difficulty to, after coming back from the vacation. You have difficulty to, after a weekend, to start a weekday. Make sense? You went high, but you cannot have a vacation rest of your life. Make sense? So you have to come down. When you come down, it hit you really hard. So that is a samsara. No matter how high go, one day will hit down. Nagarjuna's letter to friend, you can find all of those. Said Indra is the possession that worship, by the worldly beings. One day, after he passed away from that karma, he will born to the servant's servant. Make sense? And the sun and moon, they have a great light. Once those beings pass from that realm, because of their arrogance, they will born to that so dark that even they couldn't see their own arm span. Like there's one universal monarch, because he offering one Buddha some grain, because that way he become monarch through the whole Jambudvipa. Then later he become all the 4 continents. Then one day he thought, I want to become a hub of Indra. Then during that, he was sharing the kingdom with the Indra. There was a war from the demigod. Then demigod, Indra couldn't defeat demigod, but he defeat. So he thought, I'm better than Indra. I should take over completely from Indra. That time his karma is completely finished, and he fall down really bad to the lower realm. So that is the reality of samsara. No matter how high we're reborn, it will one day come down. You know, no matter how joy you have in the worldly pleasure, that much suffering you will experience. So that reason, samsara is no matter how happy, joy is not permanent. So that way it's called the nirvana, it's called the everless happiness, because once you reach that happiness, you will never lose that happiness. You know, it's not saying it's a samsara have no happiness. Yes, of course, samsara have lots of happiness. Samsara have lots of pleasure. You know, even you have a good cup of coffee, that's a pleasure. Even you have good breakfast, that's a pleasure. When we have a beautiful weather, that's a pleasure. There are lots of pleasure in the samsara, but it's not stay continually. Sooner or later, we lose them. So the reason we need to be renounced from the samsara. You have to understand the faults of samsara. Samsara, I say, there's a one quote said, even tips of the needle size of the samsara, you're not going to find the true happiness. You know, we always think that rich people think the poor one is happier because they have no responsibility. That way lots of rich people complain to the poor people. Truth is, yeah, oh, they get free everything. They don't have to work, this and that. And poor people always complain to the rich one. And of course, young one complain to the, I mean, like, I'm sure you had that experience when you're young, especially kids. You know, you think you wish to be adult. So nobody can tell you what to do. You don't have a curfew. You can go anytime you want. You can come back home anytime you want. You feel that way. You know, being kids sucks. You have to follow to the rules. Yeah? You think that way. But once you become an adult, then there's so many responsibility, but then you totally forget, you know, freedom is not free. So that is showing us no matter what condition or circumstance in the samsara, you're not going to find the true happiness. That way we have to renunciation from the samsara. Samsara is tortured by the 3 types of sufferings. Most of a lower realm is tortured by the suffering of sufferings. Most of a higher realm is tortured by the suffering of change. And generally, samsara is with a 5 aggregate, even like formless realm. They don't have any feeling at the moment, but they still have all pervasive suffering. Why? Because even they call the formless, but still they are not free from the subtle form. They still have subtle form, very subtle form. Long as we have the subtle form, we are not free from total suffering. So all pervasive suffering is there. So I think this way we look on the samsara. It's not samsara. There's not really true freedom or happiness. So the reason we have to follow to the path what Buddha showed. What is the three basket or 3 trainings? That is a true path. So we become our dharma as according to those 3. Which is mean is basically saying is our Dharma become a direct antidote of the afflicted emotion. If our Dharma increasing our afflicted emotion, it means it's better to stop. Because of your guru, because of your center, because of your community, because of your personal whatever, causing you to increasing your emotion stronger, you should stop from that. You should stop from that guru, you should stop from that center, you should stop from that community, you should stop from that practice. Even you should stop being Buddhism. No point. Make sense? I mean, really, what we're looking is, some help. So Buddha's help is, Buddha said, source of suffering, cutting the source of suffering, which is the afflicted emotion. So if because of some circumstances causing, increasing our afflicted emotion, then there's no point to continue on that. That's what I believe. Maybe some people not agree with that. Some Lamaism oriented people not going to agree with that, I'm sure. But reality is it that way. Makes sense? Yeah. So this reason, like Gampopa said, my mind turned into that Dharma. And Great Sajapinta said, if you be attached to this life, you are not Dharma practitioner. It's the same. And he said, if you be attached to the worldly pleasure, you don't have renunciation. So second one said, Gampopa said, if my Dharma turned into the path. So so this is not come automatically. Also, this it's not come naturally. It's not come, without effort. We need to put effort. So that way we supplicate into the Guru, we supplicate into the Buddha. Please bless me. Because without the Guru's blessing, without the three jewels blessing, without your marriage support, that's impossible happen. So need those two. Blessing of the, higher beings, and base of the marriage of your support together, this is possible. Change our mind to the Dharma, Dharma become a path. So yesterday we talked that much, yeah? I think something like that. So today we go to do third one. What happened? So when we understand the faults of samsara, I mean, like yesterday I mentioned, most of people don't want to think about the faults of samsara, suffer of samsara, because we think that is really bad for, we think, sometimes we think as a, oh, I come for the, what called comfort zone. I'm not come for seeking for the more suffering. But you only can find the comfort zone if you cross the suffering. Make sense? You only can become healthy if you find your sickness. Only treatment doctor can give you if your sickness is clear. So that way, in that sometimes Tibetan doctor, when they couldn't find really truly what is your true problem, they give you certain medicine, make that worse. That sickness make worse. Then when they check, then it's become more clear, then they treat you. So this is when we start in the falls of samsara, is like try to make it worse before freeing from that. So something like that. So this one is in the Adisha called the mediocre capacity beings. Adisha's tradition in the form of the Lamb of the Path. I think some of you already study on the Lamb of the Path, and also I think most of you studied jewel ornament, and the jewel ornament also explain on the detail about those three kind of a capacity beings. So I don't need to explain that one. You receive the better explanation than I could. So that way we don't need to go through that. But this is a person who understand the falls of samsara. Because of the falls of samsara, generate the renunciation, genuine renunciation from the samsara. There's a true kind of renunciation. Some are called vow, receiving the vow, individual liberation vow. There's a 3 way to receive the vows. One is to receive the vow for what called lemon. It means that just seeking something kind of a wonderful. Some receive the vow because of the renunciation, and some receive the vow because they are fear of something, so they run away from that fears. Buddha's time, there was one guy, he was collecting the firewood on the tree, on the mountain. So he got kind of I think sick, and some monk bring him to the temple and feed him really good food and, make sure he is okay. So a few days took. So he really liked food in the monastery. So he became a monk. He said, I worked so hard my life, I never had this kind of food. These monks, they need to do nothing. They get a really great food. So I want to become a food. Lots of people think being monk is easy, but that's not easy. There are lots of rules and regulation to follow. So after the few days, he couldn't. He missed his wife, he missed his home, and he couldn't follow all those rules and regulations. He ran away from the monastery, joined back to the family. Then after family tired of all the work, then he remembered the monastery food. He doesn't remember the other things. Then he joined back. So back and forth, a few times he did. So those are, I forgot the English word. There's a 3 type of vow received. Ligament. Then some become ordained because they run away from the law, run away from the fear of couldn't protect themselves from the provided food and clothes and shelter. Okay. Then some become ordained because of the renunciation. So this have to be related to the renunciation. Renunciation doesn't mean that you have to change your robes. You have to change your positions. You don't need to cut the hair to become a renunciation. You can have a long hair, but still renounce. You can change clothes, you can cut the hair, you can change the name, but still you're not renounce. Yeah, so that's possible. So that word renunciation means that, as earlier I said, we have to let go certain things, So with this, then that's called mediocre capacity beings. Mediocre capacity means that someone fear of the worldly suffering, so they renounce, practice the Dharma for individual liberation. Make sense? But even your Dharma is following to the path, it's not guaranteed that you become a Buddha. Every renounce one is not become a Buddha. So You have to be free. Your path is free from delusion. What is a delusion? Is a mistake, misunderstand. What is a misunderstand? Is it sometimes you think that just renounce is good enough to become enlightened or Buddha. Yes, you can become free from samsara, but you have not become Buddha. So, highest one, without the bodhicitta, highest one, is it can be become like a viewpoint is becoming equal to the sixth Bhumi Bodhisattva. But quality, even they don't have a first Bhumi Bodhisattva's quality. So there is two type, because they have a sudden realization of the emptiness. So that way they have a viewpoint equal to the sixth Bhumi Bodhisattva, but not the quality, because their accumulation merit is not that great. So where they don't accumulate that much merit is because they are lack of the loving kindness and compassion toward to the every sentient beings. So you have to generate the bodhicitta to free from the path that is a delusion. So what is the delusion is here, my blessing, the free, my path, free delusions. Here, delusion is talking about the mistaken path, which is the here and solitary realization. Sharvaga and Patija Buddha. So for Nagarjuna, they said, those here and solitary realize one. Until Buddha awake them, by the from the body, speech, mind, they will kind of met with the arrogance of samadhi, what they achieve. So that way, when they think they are Buddha and they achieve the nirvana, truly nirvana, that arrogance they have. But once Buddha, I don't know how to say, kulu mean the encourage them. So this one is I don't remember the English word correctly, but in the jewel ornament, there's I'm sure you remember, said, Buddha show from they awake from there's a deep samadhi by Buddha's light. Okay. Then when they wake from the deep samadhi, then Buddha's appear in front of them. Then Buddha's that is from his body. Then Buddha said from the speech, said all the great venerable or Arya, gray Arya beings, noble beings, you are not yet total nirvana, but the nirvana is you're really close now. So then Buddha helped them to generate bodhicitta to then bring to the path. This one detail is you can read in the jewel ornament, but basically Buddha's wisdom light to encourage them to continue the path. Like Buddha's time, when Shakyamuni Buddha become enlightened, after the Buddha become enlightenment, then 5 monks become enlightenment. Then Buddha said, oh, now you are Arhat, I'm Arhat. Now we are 6 Arhat. Then some other monk become Arhat, then Buddha said, oh, now today you become Arhat, I'm Arhat, they are in the Arhat, you are Arhat. We have this many Arhats. So slowly, they always hear the Buddha saying we are Arhat. But when look the quality, they cannot compare to the Buddha's quality whatsoever. Even they cannot compare to some of those Bodhisattvas. Like, Mogeyana mother passed away. He couldn't see where she was born. And one Bodhisattva helped him where she was born, because she was born way beyond many galaxies. other realm. So because of the distance, Mogayana couldn't see, but that Bodhisattva can see. So slowly, they have to call Buddha as a great arhat, because they realize Buddha is not same with them. So that is showing as a, just achieving the arhat is not final, can say final nirvana or final realization. So this reason, Asanga said, if you go to the hell, it's not permanent obstacle to become a Buddha. But if you reborn in the arahatship, it's become a more like permanent obstacle to the Buddha. Because hell beings, once after they born to the hell, they know what they did. Then they have regret of that. But arhat, once they absorb in the state of the meditation, they have no noticeable any kind of. So they stay much longer in that state than hell being ripening their karma in the hell. So this reason, some of teaching saying Sharvaga and Padigya is become more like more obstacle, can say, yeah, more obstacle to the
more of an obstacle to final realization.
Yeah, then God being born in the hell. So so that reason we have to generate the bodhicitta. So that is why we can free from the delusion of the path. All the 3 times Buddha become a Buddha because they generate the bodhicitta. So from the Buddha's Sutra, the Panjaraparamita Sutra said, without the bodhicitta, Buddha is not appearing in the world, in the samsara, in here. Then there's no way all the result of the Indra Dharma of the worldly high being is impossible. Why? Because Buddha comes. Buddha taught how to accumulate the merit. Because of that accumulation of merit, and some are born to the worldly beings, high beings. So all those Dharma, whatever you call, is taught by Buddha. So the reason. So this all is all this good contact, I can say, all the good contact, I say, learn from the Dharma. Because without the good contact, no one can achieve those, even the worldly being like Indra and Brahma. Indra is a result of the accumulation of merit. Brahma is a result of the material absorption. Yeah. So that is taught by Buddha. Yes, Sarha also said, divide, can say devoid, like a lack of, devoid of the compassion, alone emptiness is not the supreme path.
Emptiness devoid of compassion
is
not the
supreme path. So because it's not complete, so that reason need a great compassion. Mean here talking about the bodhicitta. So without the bodhicitta, even the emptiness alone is not good. I mean here, Sharvaka and Patigya, they have a partial realization of the emptiness. But they don't, because of the lack of the bodhicitta, they not become Buddha. I think this is simple way, is it? Like for example, Even Bodhisattva who reach to the first bhumi, if they don't have a responsibility of the other sentient beings, they don't need to pursue the higher teachings. But so for the personally, the personal gain of the true happiness is and free from suffering is already achieved in the first bhumi. But their intention is because of the compassion. When compassion try to act to try to help other beings, their quality is not good enough. So they pursue the higher quality through the practice of six paramita. Make sense? So that is why they pursue the high quality, because of the great compassion. So the reason Sarah has saying is without the great compassion, emptiness alone is not the superior path. So what is the loving kindness and compassion? How to generate the compassion first is if you want to generate the compassion, first you have to start the love. Yeah, I think this we put this way. When you go on the street, you see lots of homeless. How you feel? Just you see them, you feel you have a little bit sympathy, but nothing else. Not going to be any what called that, because it's not personal related. But if that homeless is one of your dearest one, can you have same feeling? No, you will do your best way to protect that person from that. Make sense? You will do anything to save that person from that circumstance. So that is showing us why we don't have enough compassion toward the sentient being, because we don't have love. That reason we couldn't show the compassion. We don't take responsibility of freeing others from the suffering. Why? Because we don't have love. More you have a loving kindness, you will have a compassion. More you have a compassion, you become true Bodhisattva. If you don't care for other beings, you have no concern about their well-being. If you don't have no concern of their well-being, you never pursue their happiness. Make sense? I think that reason this great compassion can help someone who have a great loving kindness. So what is the love? Now here, our mundane love is like you like someone, you like something. You are the what called the center. Make sense? So we said, I like this one, I want this one, I need this one. This is, we always put, you are the center. But here, when we're talking about the Bodhisattva as a loving kindness, it's other are the center. That's different. So that way we call the altruistic motivation. Altruistic motivation. When we say, I love this one, I love that one, I love you, this, we don't have altruistic motivation. If you truly have altruistic motivation, why you get a divorce? Yeah, we don't have that one. We always use love as according to what's best for ourselves. Yeah. So that way His Holiness John Rupa said, like normal people love is like, I love chicken and go to eat a restaurant to eat them. That's not really good love, If you really truly love to that chicken, you just fight for the animal right. Yeah. not fight with your knife and spoon. So so the reason in the ornament of the clear realization by Midriya said, what is the generated bodhicitta mean? The for others' benefit, want to become Buddhahood, not for your own benefit. Make sense? That's the difference. So, so this bodhicitta only can generate if you can see every sentient being like dear as your mother. I mean, your loved one, love your dearest one in your life. Maybe not necessarily call the mother as a biological mother. The dearest one is your mother in your life. It could be your father. It could be your siblings. Some people are raised by the siblings. Mother is never involved. So anyone who kindness to you in your life, that is talking about. So you have to see every sentient being like that person. Make sense? So, so when you see that every sentient being are like that one, then you have a true love. And when you have a true love, compassion comes genuinely. You don't need to meditate. We try meditate so hard to compassion, not coming. Why? Because we have a genuine loving kindness. Yeah, true love. We don't have true love. Artificial love. So, so this reason we want to become a Buddha. How to can become a Buddha for others' sake? Now we have to ask the question: how do I can become a Buddha? One of my classmates, he said, by just using the, hitting to the drum, it not become a Buddha. He said. He said he used as a, you cannot become a Buddha by beating the skin, because drum is a skin, beating by skin, you cannot become a Buddha. Only way to how to become a Buddha is a practice of the 6 paramita. Why? Because the practice of the 6 paramita is the 3 trainings. In the jewel ornament is mentioned, because of the practice of 3 training, Buddha taught the 6 paramitas. So from the 6 paramita, generosity, morality is the training of the morality. Meditative concentration is the training of the samadhi. Wisdom paramita is the training of the wisdom. And patience and perseverance is the support of all those 3. Because if you want to be complete, those 3 trainings, you need patience, you need perseverance. It's not come easily, it's not come quick. Take time and put effort, and really difficult. So you need a courageous one. So that we call the Bodhisattva. Person who practice, they are a Bodhisattva. Buddhi means in Latin, Sattva means the heroic mind, courageous one. It's not come easily, easy come, easy goes. Yeah. So this this bodhicitta is with the 4 different type of condition you can generate. So first is called the causal condition. Second one is called the objective condition. Third is called the governing condition, or sometimes it's called the authoritative conditions. And the fourth one is called the immediate conditions. So first, causal condition. So causal condition is a loving kindness. This is the main cause to have a bodhicitta. This loving kindness is a permanently with us. Every sentient being have this loving kindness. You're not going to find any being who have a totally loving kindness. You're not going to find. Like even the vicious animal, like what call this? Like always eating the bird.
Predator?
No, eagle, not eagle. No, not eagle. Hawk, like tiger, like a lion. Every day they eat flesh, but they really love their family. That's a really small, but they love their family. Even someone who cannot love their family, but they love themselves. Like those evil leaders. They cannot love anyone. Truly, they cannot love anyone except themselves. Some people, they cannot love anyone, really, but they love themselves so much. That way they become really evil. So unless they have loved themselves, so there's always a bit love. Long as they have a Buddha nature, everyone has some degree of love. That is the causal condition. That is the main cause why we can generate bodhicitta. So it's like seed of a bodhicitta is there. Yeah. Then second one is I try to put the English name. He's called objective condition, or as I think said, dominate condition.
Dominant.
Yeah, it's like you received from the object as an authentic guru. So what is the authentic guru? Is someone who have a bodhisattva vow, who protected his vow, and he or she is capable to bestow the vow to others. Because some people may have their bodhisattva vow, but they totally, unable to do anything. They're unable to explain, unable to. So they have to have all those qualities. Make sense? In the, I think, ornament of the Mahayana Sutra said, Mahayana teacher, as a quality of the Mahayana teacher, as yourself, as receive the bodhisattva vow and protect your bodhisattva vow, and have a knowledge about the Mahayana teachings, and have a compassion toward to the sentient being, and have a patience with the disciples. So that is what quality of the being bodhisattva guru, as a Mahayana guru, or bodhisattva vow, can say teacher, yeah. Teacher. So that is what is a authoritative, I think can say authoritative objective condition. From that you receive the bodhisattva vow. So sometimes it said that guru who received the bodhisattva vow and have a bodhisattva vow and have what call this, care for other more than self. I can say that way. Yeah, altruism. So we have also altruism. So that is the quality of the Buddhist Mahayana. And from the 20, I think 20 vow or 20 verse, 20 vow, Chendagome, I think, said, Lama who have a vow and who protect the vow and have a knowledge about the Mahayana and have a capacity to destroy the vow. Lama tongla nation ke nunda dele long chance. Number the deba mean the capacity to perform the ceremony. Then third one is called the supporting condition, or you need to be mind of a wishing to every sentient being free from happiness. Every sentient to be happy and free from suffering. So this is called the love and compassion. When you have a feel of wishing them to be happy, that's called the love. When you're wishing them to be free from suffering, that's called the compassion, with the love and compassion. And not just only loving compassion, because sometimes we have a loving compassion, and even somebody who not really eager to become a Buddha, they can have loving compassion. Yeah. Lots of people saying this kind of beings are Bodhisattva. They are not Bodhisattva because they are not seeking Buddha. Make sense? So Bodhisattva means the person who have a loving kindness, compassion, who is seeking to become Buddha for others' sake. So I think that's a little bit detailed. There's a one called the Lodra Miseba, one master. He said, even you have a thought to benefit other sentient beings is a more greater than offering all the Buddha. Then someone who, pursuing the happiness of other as have a greatest merit. And also there's called the Bimalamidri, one of the earlier Nima master come from in India, Bimalamidri, to Tibet at around 8th century. He said, even your altruistic motivation have no power to benefit other sentient beings. No power. Just continue on that. Someone who have this intention, one day, naturally, it will come, that power. Similarly to meditate, somebody better than shoes. So this kind of bodhicitta, altruistic motivation, Filipino.
True.
You have no idea what I said that. Yeah, same as a Tibetan time. Shantideva said, through the practice, it become more easier. There's nothing to become easier by practicing. So this kind of altruistic motivation is not easy for us, for the beginner practitioner, But when we continue on this, one day we will have this actually. Because sometimes we have a sense of, oh, this is impossible for me. this is not right for me. Lots of people say, oh, this is not easy. This is not right for me. It's really difficult. People giving up. Nothing is easy. Really, there's nothing come easily. Unless someone who many lifetime went practice, and for those people, everything come easily. But they did hardship is other many lifetimes. So they also at the beginning, they're not easy. Then slowly it become easy. Make sense? So that reason, even this kind of altruistic motivation of a bodhicitta is very, very difficult. It's doable. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. So then, what called the fourth condition is called the immediate condition of proceeding. Yeah, I don't know what we use for the early. Yeah, immediate condition. What is the immediate condition? Is it? Cherishing other are more than self. That is the immediate condition. So with this four condition, anyone can generate the bodhicitta. Because of first, we have the causal condition, which is the loving kindness, every sentient being. Then we made with a guru who kind to share the Dharma, bestow the vow, give the knowledge, instruction. Then we have an objectified condition as a loving kindness, compassion. Then we need immediate condition. Is it like you cherish to the sentient being more than your own life? So with these four conditions, anyone can become bodhisattva. Anyone can generate bodhicitta. So we need two. We already have two. Yeah, causal condition and objective condition. So we always have. At least for us, we have a, Buddha nature. And second one is we met kind guru, all of us. So two other conditions. Your mind a little bit change with the loving kindness, compassion, and altruistic thought. Long as you have this one, anyone can become bodhisattva. Right now, for us, hard is because we cherish ourselves more than anyone else. That makes us holding back to become bodhisattva. I mean, sometimes we think, we think ourselves is become a more benefit for us. Actually, when you think for other, you get greater benefit. Like one time, my uncle told me, he and other monk travel together. I think I told this story. Travel together. So in Tibetan, our main food is zamba, the rose barley flour. So normally when we travel, we try to carry much as we can. So they have one bag together. My uncle really have a kind heart. I'm not saying because he's my uncle. He always share. He always give to other. So anyone monk, who retreat a lot of retreat, anyone come there resident, he offer them food. Then the other monk got really upset. And he said, one day he said, if I live with you like this, we will have a shortage with food. So I'm sorry, I cannot share with you my food. So you do whatever you want, but I'm going to take my portion. Portion? Yeah. So he took his portion and they separate their food. They divorce with food. So then my uncle said, after a little while, his samba is finished, but my uncle's samba is still halfway. Still, he have half of them left. Because when you do for other, they will do for you too. When you're being so selfish, no one will help you anything. Make sense? So, in Tibetan, we said when people coming in your life, that means good sign that you have good heart. You know, when you don't have good heart, nobody will come around you. So that means that you have to think about how to change your own behavior. Make sense? So what I'm saying is, when you care for other, not just for this next life, even this life, immediately you will receive the reward. So this, how to immediately reward is like Shantideva said, bodhicitta is like what's called, there's one liquid that can change from the metal to gold.
Alchemy.
Huh?
Alchemy.
Alchemy. Bodhicitta is like alchemy. Even the ordinary metal can transform to the gold. Like ordinary, you know, person can become a noble family. Buddha's son, you know, object to worship. Until yesterday, you are nobody. Like within our Sangha, you know, when somebody become ordained, they try to put that person as a little bit higher. They try to serve that person food or whatever is ahead than rest of the Sangha. Normally we do that one. That is an immediate reward coming from. Not because you are accomplishing some things. Yeah. So I think this is, we can see. So there's bodhicitta is like alchemist, yeah? Alchemist?
Alchemy.
Alchemy. Alchemy? Did I say correct?
Yeah, when you take a simple metal or product and change it into gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And so become a priceless, from the ordinary to become a priceless, because you become a noble family. So that reason, as saying is generating the mind of altruistic mind is really important. So their way, freeing mind, freeing the delusion of the path. Yeah, is that delusion? Yeah. Delusion of the path.
Freeing from delusion.
Freeing from the delusion of the path, not necessarily loving kindness or compassion of the bodhicitta. Or sometimes we call the great compassion. It's the same as a bodhicitta. And mind train away from the being sharva and patigya vehicle, which is mean the self-center, individual liberation. So in Adisha said, this is the superior capacity beings. Because someone who care for other, not just only themselves, is a really superior. Now, how to transform the delusion as a wisdom? As a meditating on the emptiness. Delusion, here, delusion means the mistakenly believing in the existent. That is the delusion. That's a or confusion or imputed. Yeah. Because of that imputed of the believing in the existent, then we have all those conceptual of good, bad, me, you, you know, attachment, aversion, or this, all this dualistic. From that dualistic to then increasing to our negative emotion. So, so a meditation on the emptiness. So Shantideva said, meditate by building habitual tendency of the emptiness. eliminate the grasping of the habitual tendency of the existence.
By habituating emptiness, purify, habituating.
The grasping of the existence.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason, what is the here really truly delusion? That delusion that is transforming to the wisdom. Is it here delusion is a afflictive emotion and conceptual thought. Those are delusion. Why afflictive emotion and conceptual thought is a delusion? Because of this ignorance of the conceptual thought, which come from ignorance, as it may cause us to fall down in the samsara. And when you meditate on the non-conceptualize, can say non-conceptualize? Huh? Yeah, non-conceptualize. Free from the Chiba. So this is how it become from the conceptual thought to delusion, or conceptual thought to, can say, imputed. You know, when world is a start, can say the planet was start, there's no islands. There's only water. Because of the wind, stew the water. Stew, can say, store, like a butter, making butter, you know. When you store the milk, it become a butter, solid. When you store the water, it became island, continent. So continent is a, by storing in the water, yeah, it become a continent. So same way, there's not there's no existence of the phenomena, but because of our conceptual create that. So because this long time we habituate this conceptual, now everything is real. Wall is a real, you know, rock is a real, fire is a real, wind is a real, tree is a real, and all our suffering is a real. This is like when you're dreaming, everything's real. Until you wake up, you couldn't recognize it as dreaming. So right now we are dreaming of the delusion, and everything looks real. When, because our dream is gone so long, it become real. If it's truly, you know, phenomena are solid, existent, like what we experiencing, then why those all enlightened beings can walk through that? I think in the Nalendra, Birwapa, or one of those highly, I think maybe one of the Mahasiddha, he was drinking alcohol in the monastery. So all monks in the city, in the shrine, and he was drinking alcohol. And Nagarjuna chased him, you know, tried to punish him. Nagarjuna was a discipliner. He walked through the wall, ran away. Nagarjuna couldn't catch him. So they can do that one, like a Milarepa did. You know, 3 monk, logician monk came. They really want to debate. Why they want to debate Milarepa? Because at that time, Milarepa became really popular. In their view, Milarepa is just kind of like some kind of crazy one, you know, and people just following him because even he have nothing offer. He know nothing about the Dharma. So they want to debate him. They asking him logical things. Logical things have to come all is a relative level. Yeah. So he asked, Milarepa asked them to relatively. He asked, space is a objectified or non-objectified. Then what do you think? What do you think they said? Space. Logically non-objectified. Yeah. And he asked same things with the rock in the cave, big rock. He said, is this rock objectified or non-objectified? Then, of course, they generally commonly give answer as, of course, it's objectified. So Miller will show them what they say is not real. So he walked through the rock, back and forth, said, if that's objectified, how come I can walk through? And in the space, he walking, sleeping, laying down, on the space. He playing like that. He said, if this is not objectified, why I can sit, why I can stand? So that way, for us, air, what called the space is non-objectified. Rock is objectified. Why? Because we build this habitual tendency countless lifetimes. So become that way. So it's like by stewing the water, become an island, continent. Same thing as by stewing of our conceptual and delusion, it become existent. If you're analyzing, you're not going to find that existence. So this is not just only Buddhism thinking or believing. Even scientists have this proof. Lots of scientists have really have fears of part in our planet because they don't see as a one solid round. They see so many pieces. I don't know how to express that one, but lots of scientists become emotionally kind of a difficulty. So through the scientist examination, they can see that one. Planet is not really objectified, but for us, definitely is objectified. If you hit your head on the wall, you're not going to walk through the wall. You're going to hurt your own head. Don't do that. That's stupid. Because our habit is so solid, it become non-existent as it exists. Make sense? So if something is truly exists, then you can say everything is not empty. There's something that really exists independently without relying on anything. So like scientists, they divide in all the phenomena are called partless particle, yeah? Partless particle. Atom?
Yeah, there's atoms, there's the particles, the quarks, subatomic particles.
But cannot go further than that, yeah? In the Buddhism, logically, all phenomena as divided into is become a smallest as the partless particle. It's called the partless particle.
Singularity.
Yeah, I think can say. But Nagarjuna said, even the partless particle is not partless. If that partless particle is really truly partless, no matter how many partless particles come together, never become a big. Because of the partless particle, it still have a part that when one put many partless particles together, it become a gross, big object. How to become a partless particle to become a big is because a partless particle, one side and other side meet together, it grows, become larger. Make sense? So that way, Nagarjuna said, zero is not nothing. He divided in the zero. Same way he divided in the partless particle, also not partless. So through that way too, he explained what does emptiness mean. Buddha, Nagarjuna, all they said, they didn't say phenomena are not truly exist. They are nothing. They didn't say not exist by themselves. All are dependent. Put many things together. So that what we call the all compounded phenomena. Phenomena are compounded. Put together, cause and condition together, become one. Like one example, there's one, I think he was Theravada monk. He met with a Greek king, I think Malinga, yeah, King Malinga. Then they have a discussion. King Malinga said, if there's not God creator, how you human created, how planet created, there must be have someone to create it. You know. And in the Malinga Sutra, this monk, I forgot the name. He said, you don't need a creator. You don't need Atma. You don't need a self. You can create it, everything. One put many things together, like a chariot. If you look at every piece of the chariot, you're not going to find anywhere a chariot. But when put all those together, it becomes a chariot. Same as our body, which said, myself. You're not going to find oneself as a singular individual. Many things put together to become that self. Make sense? So that is what does emptiness mean. So in the Heart Sutra said, empty of inherent existence, yeah?
The partless particles, Gampopa, it's quantum physics.
Yeah, quantum physics.
A gentleman by the name of Lazarus. Infinite Universe is the name of the book.
Before that, there's another gentleman called Shakyamuni, he found.
Yeah.
After that, there's another gentleman called Nagarjuna, he found.
Yeah. But you mentioned science. I was just giving the
No, science started around same time, Buddhist time.
Yeah.
Really, true science is start from there. Western science started 200 years ago. All those Western science right now expressing everything is in India.
Yeah.
Already start there.
Yeah.
That's sometimes amazing, you know, they see all those planets and everything without the, what called? Telescope. Yeah. So if we're not realizing no self, what is the problem? That's if you just fall into the delusion, what is the problem? Is it if you not realize the emptiness, you cherish the self grasping. Yeah, when you cherish the self grasping, and attach to the self, and start again to the aversion. So these two, attachment and aversion, are main source of samsara. So continue in the cycle of existence, continue without the realization of emptiness. So there is a reason from Nagarjuna said, when you have a grasping on the self, you grasping on the other. Through the grasping of the self and other, have attachment and aversion. Because of the attachment and aversion, all other downfall will come. Nagarjuna also said, long as you have a grasping on the aggregate. Yeah, grasping on the aggregate, 5 aggregate, you have the grasping on the self. Long as you have the grasping on the self, and you will produce again. It means the continuing in the cycle of existence. Shantideva also said, you attach to this my and me and mine. So then you have a aversion, anyone who harm me and mine. Yeah. Then from there too, all the faults come. And again, Shantideva said, in the world, in the samsara, whatever harms comes. In the samsara, whatever suffering comes, all come from the self-cherishing. Self-cherishing is the source of suffering and faults and suffering and harm. I think this self-cherishing is Shantideva said, it's like when your skin is a wound, you immediately feel someone touch, even small touch. So like that, self-cherishing make us like that sensitive. Even small small things can become really great harm by self-cherishing. I think that is really true. If you like something, like cup, car, anything, including your seat, when somebody else sit there, you get hurt your emotion. So like if you have a favorite cup, when somebody use that one, especially like this place like this, you know, you have your own favorite card. When somebody used, then you get, that's mine. Don't touch that one. Yeah, because it hurt you, really. So cup cannot hurt you. Your attachment hurt you. Because one day you lose interest on that cup, then anybody use, you have no problem. So the cup is not the problem, you are the problem. Yeah, our grasping is a problem, not the cup. That way, Tilupa said to Naropa, appearing not, bondage in the samsara. Grasping is a bondage as samsara. Make sense? So, so by this self-grasping, we created a karma. And by karma, we experience the consequence of a karma as a experience of the samsara, yeah? Cycle of existence is a result of the karma. When we do the negative karma, we're born to the low realm. When we do the positive karma, we're born to the higher realm. We're creating the karma. So no matter how much great good karma you created, if you not have realization of the emptiness, you cannot be free from suffering. No matter how much great deed you do without the emptiness. So that way, it's saying it's a karma or source of samsara. Doesn't matter it's good or bad. As long as you put the body, speech, mind on the action, there will be consequences. But when you have a realization of emptiness, then free from that consequences. So Gampopa had one disciple. He sold one text, Dharma text. So Gampopa said, selling Dharma text is a great heinous kind of bad, really bad karma. So he asked, what should I do now? said, Gampopa said, you have to make 100 copies of that text and distribute. At that time, there's no copy machine by your handwriting. Then later he realizing, all the non-virtue and virtue, whatever conceptual is a conceptual thought, is on the ultimate reality. There's nothing of those. Then he mentioned that Gampopa said, you found your answer. So if he repay the good karma, he had to make the hundreds of the copy by selling one text. But if you meditate on the emptiness, then you don't need to do those all. By that can purify all the heavy negative, because there's nothing can destroy by the emptiness, except that grasping on the emptiness. If you grasp on the emptiness, there's no other solution. I think, yeah. So, the good karma and bad karma is distinguishing by, Nagarjuna said, whatever can say, whatever produced by like attachment, aversion, and ignorance is a negative karma. Whatever produced by the devotion, non-attached, not aversion, and free from ignorance as a good karma. By negative karma, will born to the lower realm. By positive karma, will born to the higher realm. So that is the problem. Because of the lack of the understanding of the emptiness, we have a self-cherishing. Because of the self-cherishing, we create the negative karma or positive karma, whatever karma. From that karma to we continue reborn in the samsara. If there's no karma, even you want to born, you cannot. Whatever you experience in this life, a lot of things have to do from the past life, whatever you've done. Because otherwise, sometimes there's no answer. Why this happened to me? I haven't done anything. But that when it comes to that collective karma, whatever from the past life, when it comes time, no one can stop. So 400 verse by the Arya Deva. In the Arya Deva said, even you destroy your vow, it is okay, long as you not destroy your view, correct view. Because vow only reborn in the higher realm, and view liberate you from the samsara. So, so in the Buddhism, at the beginning, the vows are really important, like morality, and those are really important physically. But when you return to the advance, then those are not that important. Wisdom is more important. Because, I mean that, wisdom, someone who have the wisdom, they're not going to do deliberately negative. Even they look like they're doing negative, there's nothing become negative. Make sense? So the reason, so without the meditation on the emptiness, that's called the right view. Because why is called the right view, that one? Because every thought or view, longest your mind functioning, yeah, with thinking, is a view. But not necessarily all those views are correct view. That way we said my view, your view. Everyone have a view. Can say function of the mind, can say? Huh? Productive? No, it's just thinking is a view. Whatever you think is a view. But here, right view mean the talking about the, absolute emptiness. Because that is non-mistaking. All other view are delusion. So that way, this delusion view transform to the right view. Can say? So without this right view, even like have a bodhicitta, compassion, they not become a absolute antidote of the afflicted emotion or negative karma, and they not become a cause to free from samsara. So what I mean, having bodhicitta, a relative bodhicitta, having loving kindness, compassion alone cannot liberate you. Why? Because they are also part of the conceptual thought. Loving kindness is a conceptual thought. Bodhicitta is a conceptual thought. So even they have that kind of a really beautiful thought, it's still thought. Yeah? It's still dualistic. It's still grasping. So that way Asara has said, devoid from the compassion, meditation on the, the earlier we said, devoid from the compassion, meditation on the emptiness is not complete. Now he has said, second word from the Nagarjuna, Saraha said, also only meditating on the empty compassion, that cannot be free from samsara, because meditation on the compassion still is a conceptual thought. By it cannot free us from the samsara. So delusion means the conceptual. And our goal is a non-conceptual. So on another hand, another way is it, delusion means the dualistic. Our goal of how to transform the dualistic to the non-duality. Non-duality is our goal. Achieving the non-duality is called what we're seeking. Make sense? Yeah. So more we become closer to the non-duality, we reach into the closer to the Buddha. More we divide it, dualistic become our conceptual. So we are far from the from the Buddha. No. So Arya Deva said, even loving kindness and compassion cannot be completely free from the false. Why? Because they are not completely free from the delusion in the concept. So a view of meditation on the emptiness, and that only that way to liberate completely. So overall, how do we realize in this non-duality wisdom? As earlier I mentioned, this non-duality wisdom is a two-way to we realize. Through the devotion to qualified guru, devotion of the qualified guru, and your own accumulation of merit. Only these two ways can realize that true suchness. I think what it means, the qualified guru mean the absolute as it cannot learn or find through the external knowledge, like text, instruction, book. So like even Midiba said, without the ornament of the guru's oral instruction, middle way is a halfway. Because the middle way is giving the instruction on the emptiness, like Nagarjuna. No matter how much express, it's still conceptual. The absolute is beyond the conceptual. So the reason Shantideva said, absolute is beyond the scope of conceptual thought, or beyond the scope of mind, scope of the mind, because mind is a conceptual thought. So what we're studying, what we're learning, what we're hearing from the explanation is a mind, conceptual. Only that one cannot. So you have to work with the guru devotion. You have to trust with the guru's some instruction to call the ornament of the oral instruction. Through that too, for that you need really truly devotion. Without the devotion, you're not going to find that one. So if you read the jewel ornament, Gampopa said, if you see guru as ordinary, you may receive some vows. That like individual liberation vows, Bodhisattva, maybe some of those. If you see the guru as a Bodhisattva, you can receive the Bodhisattva vows, but no hope of a high realization. Even seeing the guru as a Nirmanakaya Buddha is not complete. Seeing as a guru as a Sambhogakaya is not complete. Have to be seeing guru as a Dharmakaya to complete realization of suchness. So these two, why like for example, Ananda, if come to the knowledge about the sutra, compared to the Ananda and Kashyapa, they are not compatible. Ananda remember every single thing what Buddha taught. They are no greater knowledgeable than Ananda at that time. But Ananda is liberated by the Mahakashyapa, who are meditator. Make sense? Naropa was the great scholar when he was in the Nalanda. He was liberated by the Dilupa, who was just meditator, not scholar. Basubandhu, 500 times he had been the Pindita. He is liberated or achieved the nirvana through his brother who were practitioner or meditator, Asanga. So this is just learning from the externally cannot reach that ultimate nature. So the reason why I need the Guru devotion. From the Gampopa Hevaja Tantra said, Shengi Chemel Henji Kandu Yanaminati, Lamentu de Tabata Rajisona Leshijas. Co-emerge wisdom, which is co-emergent wisdom, which is not expressed by other, not going to find from anywhere, only through the oral instruction of the Guru and your own merit. Sorry, today my voice is. This is a result of the mind being an idiot. Yeah, last night we walk. I didn't wear the jacket. So cold, and then caused my voice is like this. So idiot create the suffering.
Stop. Not
No, just idiot.
stop.
So, so this Guru devotion saying is if you see Guru as a Nirmanakaya, maybe you become benefited for the sentient being, but there's no big chance to reach to the Vajatara state. If you see Guru as a Sambhogakaya, fulfill your common and uncommon some siddhis, fulfilling your wish, but not reach to the Vajatara state. So called the Mugu Tartu. Tartu means like kind of like a limited, can say.
Yeah.
Reach to the limitation of the devotion is the Guru as the Dharmakaya. Only that way to So with this devotion, Sarah has said, Lame Lungla Tindi Guibena, Hejikiba Yuatazomes. There's if you put perseverance on the Guru's oral instruction, there's no doubt about realization of the co-emerged wisdom. So this is the way how to transform our delusion of the conceptual thought to the wisdom of emptiness, or you can say Mahamudra, Dzogchen, whatever, name. That is a co-emerged realization. You can name anything, but the meaning is the same. So Gure Sajapindita said, if you have a view that is superior than Panjara Paramita, wisdom perfection, your view is a conceptual view, elaborated view, because Panjana Paramita is a free from elaboration. If you have a better than that one, it's an elaborated one. So what I'm saying is, we have a different name, like a meditation on the emptiness, meditation on the Mahamudra, meditation on the Kondayime, meditation on the great Madhyamika, meditation on the Dzogchen, whatever name, it's the same. Some people call apple, some people call kushu, some people call different name. Fruit is not changed by changing name. Apple always be apple, doesn't matter what you call. Yeah. So same thing is that realization of the suchness, which is Buddha taught in the Pajana Paramita, is nothing changed by changing name. Because sometimes we have, oh, ours is more greater than your one. Definitely have no realization for that. Because you divide it, dualistic. You are far, far away from the realization. When you, as long as you're making, one is better, one is worse, one is good, one is bad. You are corrupted with the dualistic conceptual. Make sense? So I always said, whatever you can do is the best. Whatever work for you is the best. There's no really genuinely best one. Everything is the same. I think one of the Chinese leader, Deng Xiaoping, said, it doesn't matter cat is a white or black, long as it's catch the mouse. Yeah. So long as it's become an antidote of the old conceptual thought, it doesn't matter what name put. So goal is freeing our dualistic conceptual thought. That is the delusion. How to transform that is by non-conceptual thought or meditation on the emptiness. Make sense? So that is a fourth word. My delusion transformed to the wisdom. That is what's transformation. Make sense? Yeah, other than that, I don't know. Okay, if that's good, then we stop here. Okay, thank you. Don't rush. Rushing. Sorry. I need to open the text. Wait. Okay, English, yeah.
Therein may I achieve all missions and having defeated all enemies and faults, may I liberate all beings from the ocean
of samsaric existence and as a profound root.
May the precious supreme mind of awakening around this fair burning and may it not decline wherever it has been risen, whenever increase more and more. The hero enters freely knows how, and likewise.
Some of the Bhadra are following their path, fully dedicated all the virtue. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth that is unchanging reality itself, by the blessing of the uncommunity that is undivided Sangha, may the prayer bear fruit of the according to the dedication. By the virtue accumulate in the three, by myself, all samsara and nirvana. By innate fruit of virtue, may I born beings in that quickly attain and surpass perfect, complete, and precious awakening. May the teaching of the great Gampopa Ranashi, who perceive all the pandemic, the vital point, dependent origination, the Lord throughout the hearing, contemplation, and meditation, until
Through the blessing of the truth of the Lamas, the three Jews, the and Dharma protectors, may the spiritual and worldly legacy as well as the monasteries of the second Nagarjuna flourish and prosper. May the hostility of adversaries, no matter how violently they act, be pacified, and may there be perfect auspiciousness, happiness, and good.
by the power of the virtue accumulated through showing the according with the Buddha's teaching, unmistaken path, utterly pure intent. May the teaching of the Gampopa Ranashiri, our 10th Bhumi protector, flourish the remaining force. Thank you.
So much.
Sorry to hear my boring voice. Or you should appreciate even I'm this kind of miserable state. Oh.